Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to see about retrieval-augmented generation. By now, you would have known and used RAG, but here I'm going to just say like how it is actually working internally and for what all things that you can use RAG for. So it is a technique that gives LLM access to external knowledge by retrieving relevant information before generating a response. Basically, you give a document instead of like going for fine tuning with entire large set of data. You can use RAG to extract the context with the help of LLM. So this is what RAG is about. How it actually works. The main thing that helps RAGs to work this much of clarity and best results with the data that you give is all depends on the vectors. So it extracts vectors by any vector DB that we use or steps or tools that we follow. But in general, you just convert your data or the questions into vectors and the data that you fed into vectors, and it actually matching those relevant points or score, and it removes the duplicates and groups every points based on the scores it is assigned to. So that is how this vector and embedding the entire thing works. And with the help of that, you get the results for your questions. So when a user asks about written policy, it converts your question into vectors and it search the DB with the score like 0.23 and the score which DB has related to or close towards to 0.23. So that is your similarity score. With the help of question similarity or any similarity scores, it can give you the reply. So the search database will find the relevant documents, the PDF or text files for the questions that you asked based on the vectors it is assigned to. And at last, you will get the answers. So this is how the entire step works. I mean the flow. So now we're going to see like how it actually differs from others like fine tuning and prompt engineering. Prompt engineering basically what it does is it instructs LLM what it need to do, like for any summarization or classification or to understand any context that you give, and it behaves for you. So that is prompt engineering, that you give prompt to act. When it comes to fine tuning, it is all about retraining the entire model which is already there. For example, you have a model which will perform classification, which will classify the data whether it is a sport or a cinema content. So this is like a two category that you have, and it classifies. But for you wanted to change the classification with your data, instead of classifying sports and cinema, you need to classify it for the any news article, like it is happy or sad, or doing sentiment analysis on the data. So you just feed your set of data and ask it to classify in this particular two category, like happy or sad, for sentiment analysis, instead of like identify the category of sport and cinema. So that is fine tuning, like adding your information, your small set of data or anything it may be. You just give to the already trained model, and you just erase the information it know and feeding the new information for it, like ranking or any q LoRa that you can use to fine tune it. So that is like different. But when it comes to drag, what it does is you're not going to train or you're not going to instruct directly without any context. You give a context to LLM and instruction to it, the task and instruction. Instead of like going for agentic or any other generative AI stuff, RAG is something you instruct with your set of data instead of going for fine tuning with a large set of data and wasting time in doing such. You directly ask a question, and it does an embedding, understands what it is, and identifies something which is close match. With the help of LLM, it gives a exact answers that a customer or user asking for. So this is how this entire flow and varies from other two variations. Now, vector database. Vector database, we already know, is something that you feed and it converts into a numerical format. And at last, in order to find a match, it does a similarity score. And finally, you will get a match. So this is what the entire thing does. But here, how it actually does is embedding creation context text to vectors. So when I give a text, it converts that into numerical format and stores that in any vector DB storage and the similarity score. Same thing, like 3 steps, and it does. So these are vector databases which does it for you. You don't have to do it manually. You can just directly feed the data and it converts that into, it does the embedding by itself, and at last you can just pull the IDs directly which it gave to you. So that is how it does. So you can just directly connect your RAG model within this vector DB like Pinecode, Qrent, VV8, Chroma, anything it may be. So yeah. Hmm. You can use mostly for chatbot, document Q&A, and enterprise or knowledge management. So these are things that you can use, and there are like one more use cases where you can use RAG is for classification model also. So you can just feed a context to it, and your set of data, like whenever there's new data comes in, you can just give a context of it, like whether it need to classify for this or that. That is also new way of thinking for RAG that will also be useful. um, and you can come up with any different use cases using RAG also. So it is open and very time consuming. I mean, not consuming, like less time consuming. You don't have to spend like large amount of energy towards data training, fine tuning, or using any other open source platform, but still won't give accurate results. But RAG will give accurate results, and it is very effectively used in AI industries. So you can use anywhere, anytime. When you have large set of data, you can use RAG. You can go for RAG. If you don't have large set of data, you have like very minimal, and you need to go with a different structure of model completely entirely, you can go with fine tuning instead of like going for RAG. RAG comes when you don't have to change anything with the data. It need to answer just like that with the data itself, within the data itself. For example, you're building a Q&A for medical student means you will have the same set of document, or any updation like new treatment comes in, any machineries or any technology came in, you can add those by searching web and append the documents into it. But the Q&A will be same. If they ask for any disease, the symptoms and treatments, everything will be same. So you don't have to like spend much on fine tuning a Q&A for it, or a train new set of new model for it. You can just directly go with the RAG for that. So for these kind of things, you can go with RAG, and the remaining stuff, like little data, if it is like completely new behavior, like every time, or you need to go with complete new creative process, you can go without RAG. So I think this video finds you well. Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in comments, or there are like other sources also available for RAG. You can directly experiment it. Stuff like going on, checking every time, like reading. Uh, Hands-on experience will be, sufficient to understand RAG better. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.